Hey, welcome back to the shop. It's Dustin out here again. I'm going to start a little series here. I'm going to call it something like Dirty Woodworking Secrets or Dirty Little Secrets in Woodworking, something like that. Some things that I've kind of picked up as I've gotten into woodworking that maybe the general public doesn't quite understand and that can be a real hassle when you're trying to learn how to make projects around the house or make larger projects especially. So the first one we're going to talk about is how all tape is not created equal. So let's head over to the workbench and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Nice.
So I've got a whole pile of tape measures here that I've gathered up around the house, out in the shop, wherever I can find them here. Just kind of give you an idea of even just in our household, all the different kinds we have. A couple of these, this one's like a junior carpenter. I got this out of my boy's toy toolkit. This one, I don't even know where this came from. I found that in a drawer. This one came out of like a science kit, like a kid's science kit. This is actually Stanley brand, but again, this is one that he keeps in his little toolbox with his kind of junior toys and stuff. This is one my wife had, Lufkin, I guess is the brand. I'm not familiar with it. It's not even sure where she got it, to be honest with you. This is a Swanson. I got this one of the big stores, big green one. It's pretty nice tape, nice and thick. It extends pretty far. It's got a cool tip on it. It's got magnetic tip, and it's supposed to be good for scribing lines. You can hook it. It's got a top hook here where you can hook it on either side. It's actually got numbers on both sides, and it's got let's see, a built-in point here for hooking on things to scribe. So that's where it gets its name from. These two up here, I'll talk about a little more detailed later. These are fast cap. We'll focus there. Fast cap. This is 16 foot, and I've got a 25 foot too. These I really like. These have a lot of different features on them. The big thing is they've got the increments all marked out. If I can get the focus, there we go. So that makes it a lot faster. You go to measure something, it's easy to read, it's fast, it's nice and black and white contrast, it's nice, easy to read. I really like these. Comes with a built-in pencil sharpener. It also, this right here is, you can actually write on this. If you need to just take a little note or write some measurements or something, you can measure out, whatever you're measuring, write it on there, just keep little notes, you can erase it. That's pretty sweet. This also has a cool feature on it that I really like, because if you've been in the wood shop for long enough, you know that there's not many things scarier than the tip of your tape coming off the edge of whatever you're measuring and flying back at you, pinching your hand. Or you can actually stretch this out over time. If you keep letting that slam back in there, it'll start to stretch. Get in focus. It'll start to stretch these pins. This play here, in case you didn't know, I guess we can talk about this real quick. This play at the end of your tape measure is actually there on purpose, because what happens is when you hook it on the end of something, you need to be able to get an accurate measurement, but then when you measure the inside of something, that play in your tape measure should equal the width of the tab on your tape. So when you're measuring the inside, that little play in the tip actually accounts for the thickness of the tip. So little extra bonus tape knowledge there in case you didn't know that. Another thing people don't sometimes know, this little notch in the end here, this is actually for marking out circles. You can hammer a nail into something, and just leave the tip out a little bit, hook that little opening on the edge of your nail, take it out and lock it at whatever measurement you want, and you can use that as a pivot point to scribe a circle. Another little, shouldn't have done that. But what this actually has on it that's really cool, it has like a break here on the bottom. So, obviously you can take it out and lock it with your thumb like normal, but it also has a button down here that will put a break on the tape. So, you know, if it's way out and, you know, it's on the other side of the table and you pull it up, you can unlock it and then slowly let it back in little by little. That's pretty sweet. All right, let's jump into it and I'll show you what I've been talking about here. I've got a few of these tapes laid out here and I'm holding the tripod by hand, so forgive me if it's a little wobbly. So I've lined a few of them up here. I got the couple of those toy ones here on the end. That's that Stanley, the Lufkin, the Swanson, I think it was, and the fast cap here on the end. I kind of locked them all out about 3 feet, and that's not super important. You can see on the other end here, I hooked them all to the end of the table here, so I've got them as equal as I can get them. And I've lined them up so that we can get an idea of how they're measuring at different distances. So what I'm going to do here is I've got a, I don't know if you can see on here. Yeah, this is products, you know, this is a PEC combo square, so they keep a pretty low tolerance, pretty accurate products. These are, you know, nice squares. So I'm going to do my best to hold the camera and line this up for you so you can see kind of what I'm talking about with the difference in measurements. Because even though I have these all hooked up to the same thing, or the same edge, and we've got them all lined up side by side, I want to kind of give you an idea here. So we're going to, you know, square this up to the edge of the table. I'm going to try and line it up with the 1 foot on the fast cap on the back, because that's the one that I generally use in the shop. So you can see if I'm trying to get it balanced here with one hand. So if I line it up on the 1 foot there, you can see the different measurements of the different tapes. Whoops, slid a little bit. Get it back on there. There we go. So you can see, I know it's hard to tell as wobbly as I am, and now I've kind of gotten off the table. There we go. So you see I'm at the 1 foot on the fast cap, and you can see how they're all a little bit off at 1 foot. Let's go out to 2 feet. Okay, so I'm square up against the edge of the table here. Try and line that top edge up with the 2 foot. And again, you can see some of them are off by, you know, just a fuzz. I mean, that one is almost off, almost a 32nd off. That one's pretty equal to mine. That one's off. That third one there, that's that Stanley. You can see that it's a little off. I can get back on my line here. You can see what I'm talking about, though. So I know that doesn't seem like a lot, you know, 32nd of an inch, a 64th of an inch, but if you're making 3, 4, 5, 6 cuts with one tape measure and marking with one tape measure, and then you go to measure your overall project and you grab one of your other tapes, you know, you could be off by 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. I mean, that's quite an accumulation by the end of your project. So you can see, you know, why this could be an issue and why it's important to use the same tape measure, or hopefully, you know, you would think that like I've got those 2 fast caps, you'd think that the 2 of those would be the same, you know, based off the same standard that they're manufactured under. But this is why it's important to be consistent with the tools you use, because if you're bouncing back and forth between all kinds of different brands, all kinds of different systems, then it can really throw off your project. And it's something they don't really talk about, and that's why I consider it a dirty little secret in woodworking. So I hope you guys got the gist of what I was trying to show you in that example, and why it's important to be consistent, specifically with your marking tools throughout your project. There's actually a saying in woodworking that it's more important to be consistent than it is to be absolutely accurate. This, you know, is especially true for like setting up your tools and making consistent cuts, repeatable cuts over and over. It's more important to make 4 legs that are, you know, exactly the same length than it is to make sure that it's exactly down to the 32nd what it was supposed to be. So if you guys got some entertainment, some knowledge out of this video, give it a like. If you want to catch more videos like this, I'll be doing more in the like Dirty Secrets of Woodworking series, along with some other videos I've got planned. I'd love for you to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys next time.